Okay, Scott Selig again with Harvest Development Group's Do Good Better Talks. And today we're very fortunate to be joined by two professionals from VoterX, and I'll introduce them in a sec. VoterX is a digital fundraising, digital media partner to fundraisers throughout the United States. And today we're joined by Tom Lee and Hannah Endres from VoterX, and they're going to talk to us today about digital fundraising. We know that as we talk to all of you in the nonprofit world, fundraising is a major concern during the COVID crisis. And so hopefully we're going to get some great insights and learn about some tools that we can use to help increase our fundraising platforms. So welcome, Tom and Hannah. How are you?
Doing well, doing well.
Great. So we're very interested in learning today about digital fundraising and different aspects that can help us all as we try to maneuver through different fundraising means during COVID and then after during our recovery period. So welcome.
Well, thank you so much for having us. Yeah, it's a great segue. Just in general, I think that everybody right now, all fundraisers in general, and a lot of companies out there are hurting in this situation. COVID-19 has devastated the landscape, and I'm really happy to be on the show, just to be able to kind of give some insights on what we can possibly do to get around some of these barriers and help out.
Great. Great. So we're ready. So let's talk a little bit about digital marketing. I know you've
Yeah.
got a whole bunch of different aspects, and I've already got some notes written down. But let's get started and talk about maybe some best practices that you've got.
Yeah, so as of right now, and I'll let Hannah, kind of jump in here, periodically, but there's a lot of different tools, and in general, when we're seeing the fact that, you can't have your Met Gala, you can't have your in-person fundraising event that you're looking for in a general, if this was typical 2019, we would be able to have. It's really been hurting a lot of different fundraisers out there. In that case, a lot of we've seen in our industry and also in general, we've seen a shift into the digital market. I mean, there is a lot of people right now that are sitting at home, they're doing work from home, they're watching TV, they're using their connected TV. So we do have a lot of tools at our disposal to get to these users without having to them actually get to a physical event. Just to introduce one, my favorite, off the top of the head, and a really popular one for digital fundraisers is, in this case, is Device ID Look Back. And what that is, it's actually taking, a geofence. So we could take that Met Gala from 2019 and we could go ahead and put a radius around it. And this would be able to collect data on the individual cell phones and devices that are in that, certain area at that time. So you'd give me a day, a time, and we'd be able to set that parameter for that. And we'd be able to then serve them ads based off, whatever you're trying to raise money for, either for a nonprofit or you're trying to raise money for, hospitals that are in need right now, whatever you're trying to do. It doesn't have to be something as big as a Met Gala, but, if you had your typical event that was canceled, we can always go back to last year to make sure we can, get to those people that were there last year. Hannah, you want to jump on that?
Yeah, and in addition to that, that's just one of the
Oh,
many
oh yeah.
different targeting techniques that we can do to reach those people that you would be, in the past reaching in person. The great thing about digital is there are so many different methods to find that target audience and then different mediums to reach them. Digital isn't just one thing. It includes social media. It includes connected TV, so television through streaming devices, podcast advertising. There's ads everywhere nowadays. So it's a great time to start utilizing digital for fundraising efforts.
Excellent. So I just want to go back to the geofencing because to me this has got me totally intrigued, and I'm really kind of thinking this is a great tool. So even if it wasn't your fundraising event, let's use the Met Gala as an example. So the Met Gala had all of these great VIPs and attendees last year at their gala. You could actually geofence the participants from that event, knowing what date and what time the Met Gala occurred. You could then get IP addresses for all of the people who attended. And then if you knew that the Met Gala audience was involved in the arts and wanted to support the arts, and you had an organization a nonprofit that supported the arts, you could actually actually message those attendees? Am I
Yeah,
getting that
that
right?
is that is correct. And the cool thing about, that specific tool is that when we do put it around it, and like you said, Met Gala or whatever it might be, and if it definitely if it affects your fundraising efforts, if it's something that you're really trying to get to, it could be 20 different events across the country that you might not have gotten to before because you couldn't set a representative out there, anything along those lines. We'll actually be able to tell you how many devices were in that area during that time. So we could say, hey, there was 700 people at that event. How would you like to go about it? And on top of that, we can layer on all kinds of different targeting, like just, on top of that single device ID look back. So it kind of opens the door. It's Pandora's box, if you will. And there's a lot more that you could do just on top of looking at the events that had occurred.
Yeah, I mean, I'm even thinking just from a college perspective.
Oh, yeah.
There, attendees at a basketball game or attendees at a graduation from last year. So if they're looking to get new donors, they could, be targeting those type of audiences. I think it's really an amazing technology that really could help and support a lot of our fundraising efforts in the nonprofit community.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and you just brought up a great point as well. And it doesn't have to be specific events that happen to be just for charitable causes. I mean, if you're a school and you're trying to raise money through your alumni, a lot of those alumni are going to come back during sporting events and things along those lines. So being able to do this device ID look back, a geofence looking in the past. Around where they might be tailgating, where the event actually is, you're going to be able to serve ads to them, years after that, a year after they've actually been to that event, which that we tend to see a lot of alumni when it's those big events come by. So it's definitely a big tool, and it's more than just using it on charitable events. It's wherever your target audience is actually going to be at any given time.
Wow, great. So what are some other aspects of digital marketing that we can think of for fundraising needs?
Yeah, so another big one, I'll just jump in there and I'll let Hannah kind of take some time too. I feel like I'm hogging it over here. But no, another one is email domain targeting. And this is really, really cool for this year specifically. I know there's been a lot of different events that have been, canceled and, a lot of different events that are just not going on anymore because of COVID-19. So what we're able to do, usually these events are run by an organization or a nonprofit that has, email domain. We're actually able to track who's getting emails from that domain in general. So if the American Red Cross or something, let's just say, they're running a fundraiser, we're actually able to see if they got an email saying, hey, sorry, we had to cancel the event. We appreciate, your support. We're actually able to target those individuals as well. We'll be able to put the input of the domain of that, americancross.com or .org in that case, and then we'd be able to say, this is how many people are getting emails from that certain group, and then we'd be able to target them with ads as well.
Wow.
That's also a great way to reach people that are donors of similar organizations, because people that are donors tend to donate to, multiple different types of organizations. So it doesn't have to just be your own. Any company or any organization that would ever send emails, we can then pull a list of those receivers and then target those individuals with ads. So a great way to reach people nowadays that, just based on the emails that they receive.
Right. And I think, Tom, when you and I were talking earlier, we were talking, if you think about events like the South by Southwest down in Austin or, Coachella or something where you've got a bunch of like-minded individuals who have maybe similar interests in the environment or climate issues.
Yeah.
It's a great way to capture those type of audiences. I'm really intrigued by this. It's really interesting stuff.
Oh,
And
yeah.
what are some, and so what are some other tools in other ways that you're, I know it can be used for fundraising, but it also can be made into awareness campaigns. And probably some other aspects. So what are some other digital fundraising
so in
avenues?
Yeah, in the the realm of awareness, or in the realm, obviously, a lot of the times when we're raising money for a fundraiser, it's to raise awareness about an issue. So obviously you want to have that campaign as well. So in cases where, you want to, let a proposition about a school happen, or, you might have, feed the children is something we've worked with in the past, something like that, you're trying to get an issue out there. You're actually able to, run campaign ads with us as well that just, can go out to a general public that might be interested in that cause, that might be either voters that might be able to make a difference, or, individuals that might have the household income to make a donation. That kind of joins into the next part here, is just our general data partners. We work with over 180 different data partners, which allows us to be able to track individuals based off of, if they've been a donor in the past, what their household income is like. So you can kind of see what life stage they're in, to kind of know whether or not this person would actually be a viable option for your cause. And like you said, if you're trying to find somebody for the an environmental donation cause, you're going to want to find people that are actually are environmentalists, or interested in saving the environment, or interested in climate change. They want to make sure that doesn't happen. So you want to make sure, the thing is, we at VoterX, we really try to make sure that we're not having any ad spillover. We want to make sure that targeting comes first, and then our ad placements take the rest, because they tend to do very well.
And then kind of just piggybacking off of that, once we find that right audience, especially for awareness campaigns, people have to be aware of your organization and aware of your event or whatever you're promoting. And to do that, you have to reach people at different touch points during their day. So it's not just sending them one type of ad. People aren't just looking at their emails only. They're watching TV. They're on social media. They're on websites. They're on their local news site. They're listening to podcasts. They're listening to audio and local news streaming. So it's really hitting them at multiple points, getting your message across to them, to number one, have them be aware of your organization. And then number two, to then engage and ultimately to take action and to donate. Yeah. So it's really about picking those different channels to reach the audience.
Excellent.
I was going to say that is a great way in general to, starting off slow, just telling people about your organization at first, like Hannah was saying, and then not just immediately saying, hey, give me some donations here, we need them. It's saying, hey, hello, this is what our cause is about. Maybe you might be interested in here. Maybe learn more as a call to action within that ad, and then following up that ad with donate now. If you had happened to click on that ad, take a look at the information. You were interested, you were on that site for a little bit, we could see that, and then we're able to serve you an ad saying donate now, so then it will direct them right to the page where you can either submit, and then we could actually get that information as well.
Excellent. Yeah, we're seeing, and the research shows us that for a donor, really we look at about 4 or 5 touch points of stewardship before they actually make their gift. So you're right. You do really need to reach them in different ways with different messages to educate on your cause and on your organization. Makes a lot of sense. Mm-hmm. So, let's talk about costs. What type of costs are we looking at? We work with nonprofits that are big and some that are small. So, this sounds so futuristic. I'm sure that some of the nonprofits back in the office are trying to say, can I afford something like this?
Right. And the great thing about digital, especially running digital media through VoterX, is that it's not like a TV buy or a magazine buy or something where there's this high spend that you have to hit to even run an ad. It's really flexible. We work with nonprofits and organizations everywhere from very local and regional companies to national and international brands as well. So, we work with you to figure out what your budget is and then what you can get with that budget. And the great thing too about like connected TV, for example, so it's basically a commercial for anyone that's watching television through a streaming device. That's all bought and sold digitally. So you don't have to go to broadcast, pay that big lump sum, have it run in even areas or targeted to people that are not relevant or not donors. we can get very granular on who we're reaching to spend your ad dollars the most efficiently.
And I would imagine because of COVID, we're seeing a lot more streaming, and so a lot more opportunities in that area.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's where everyone's getting their information is online. And when you can't go out, you can't go to restaurants, you can't go do fun things, people are just going and streaming, whether that's on Hulu or the Roku or, you know, just streaming through the apps. Most people are cord cutters now. So that's the best way to reach them, with a commercial type ad.
Interesting. Wow.
Oh, Tom, I think you're muted, possibly.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Sorry about that. Yeah, so just to go on that too, you know, it's really awesome. And it's not awesome in this situation, but a lot of people these days, and I've actually talked with a lot of people, you know, my friends, my family, where they're getting their news, and that's where it kind of picks up what VoterX can offer. We've been in the business and for about 17 years now, and we actually got our start in the local news site industry. So we're the local news sites that you can go on. Like, you know, in Columbia, where I'm at, it's KMOU, and a lot of the times that's where you're going to get your information. That's where a lot of people are getting their information about COVID-19 updates, because you don't want to hear, obviously you want to know the national numbers, but you want to know, is it in my Walmart down the street, or is it in my grocery store that's going on down the street as well? And that's where we have premium inventory across the entire United States. We've worked with them for over 17 years, and that's where we've been able to secure a lot of good and good premium inventory across the board. And we've actually stretched up into Canada too. So, you know, all over the place.
Great. And what kind of preparation? You know, is this a month of preparation, campaign type work, or is it something that can be done quickly?
Oh yeah, it can be both. So if there's, especially in the political world, things change so quickly, and with COVID, that adds a whole nother layer into it. So we understand that with this upcoming season, your plans that you had a month ago, 2 months ago, might be out the door. So it's kind of really about replanning, and that might be different on a week-to-week basis. So with digital, the great thing is, if there's an initiative you're wanting to push and you want to get this campaign live tomorrow even, that's something that we can do. Of course, if you have the luxury of long-term planning, we can accommodate that. But digital can get up and running within 24 hours. And then once the campaign's live, if something changes, can make changes on the fly as well. Pivot messaging, pivot direction, pivot target audience. That's the great thing, is that it's very easily to make edits once you're on the go.
Oh yeah,
great.
And you know, I've had campaigns, and Hannah's had campaigns that, you know, it's either we've had a couple months where we're kind of building up, and obviously everything was put into place, or we quickly get an answer, hey, we need this up now, and all of a sudden, you know, all guns to the wind, and we get it up there.
Excellent, great. So can you tell us maybe a story or a case study of one of the nonprofits you work with, and how this has gone?
Oh yeah, absolutely. We've worked with a number of nonprofits, like Tom mentioned, over the past 17 years. I know a few that we worked with are Doctors Without Borders, to name one, across multiple other ones. Tom, do you have?
Yeah, no, we've worked with Feed the Children's a really good one that we worked with, and that one was specifically focused on, you know, fundraising efforts. We actually used a couple different methods, like we were saying, raising general awareness about what Feed the Children is, and obviously using our behavioral segments that we're able to access, you know, getting through them through, you know, are these people donor based? Do they care about, you know, different communities? Do they care about donating to poverty causes? And that we're actually able to identify those custom segments and actually implement them. And yeah, so Feed the Children's a great example of showing awareness at first, and then slowly getting the person in, and then showing them, hey, donate now. And we actually did see from, the organization Feed the Children, we saw an uptick in donations, very, very large uptick over the course of I think it was about a month and a half campaign.
Wow. Excellent, great. So, so what's a great way to get in touch with you?
Yeah, my best way to get in touch with me would be, obviously my cell. I'm always on the phone. I'm a phone guy, so you could either reach me on my cell at 314-922-4460, or you can get to me. I'm always checking emails too, so that's always good. TLEE@voterx.com.
Great. And your website is voterx.com. So you've
Yeah.
got some great case studies up
Oh
there
yeah.
and different explanation of the different type of services that you
Mhm.
provide. And again, if anyone's got other types of questions, you can reach us at roots@harvestdevelopmentgrp.com, and we're more than happy to pass on any questions you might have to VoterX and to Hannah and Tom, or to we can connect you to them. But yeah, so we're going to wrap up in a couple minutes. But any
Yeah.
last thoughts before we go?
Well, I did want to mention, just really briefly here about two little targeting techniques, just a couple more tools in our belt.
Sure.
If I just wanted to reach out to those nonprofits that might have data that they trust and they already, they're like, I know you have data, and I trust my data partner. We can go ahead and take those either CRM list, or if you call it just file information from email to physical addresses. If you're able to provide us with that, we're actually able to do an integration through our servers, and that's able to match. We're usually able to get about a 60 to 80% match back rate on those, and that's actually targeting directly to the individuals that you have on your list. And most of the time, these larger or mid-size fundraisers, they usually have email sign-up sheets, so they at least have some kind of foundation, some kind of CRM that they can kind of build across. And if they want to trust those individuals to maybe donate again, then we can go ahead and bring that back and serve ads to them as well. And then secondly, I did really quick want to bring up the fact that we are able to kind of take an audience that say we're running a campaign with you. We'll put a thank you page after someone would donate, and if we were able to do that, obviously we put a little pixel there on that thank you page, and once someone did donate, we could actually make a very high level lookalike audience. We call it predictive targeting, based off individuals that actually decided to go to the website through the ad and actually donate. This allows us to find individuals that have similar behavioral patterns all across the web, same demographics, things like that, and kind of expand that base that you might have already, been hitting at the door and just not quite ticking, and that you want to find more. We're going to be the people that can expand that audience.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah, and just going off of that, if any of this seems relevant to you as you're listening, please reach out. We would be more than happy to schedule a call to discuss different tactics that are most relevant for you and your organization, and discuss different strategies and ways that we could work together. So Tom and I work together on a team, so reaching out to him would be best. And then you can also reach out to Scott as well.
Great. Well, this was fantastic. Very interesting stuff. It just reminds me of, in a movie Minority Report, when Tom Cruise's character walks by this wall and all of a sudden, it says whatever his name was in the movie, hey, you're looking for get a beer, Guinness or something like that. It's very futuristic thinking, but it really, as we look at what's going on today, we're having to pivot from galas and golf tournaments and live fundraising events. We really need to turn towards digital fundraising as one means to try to be successful, to make sure that our organizations can go forward. So really interesting stuff. Thank you very much for being on the call.
Oh, thank you for having us.
Sure. Okay, great. Well, have a great day, and everyone take care. Thank you very much.
Thank
Take
you.
care. Bye-bye.